NPP chairman Adams Maham's murder.
Also in the bulletin tonight, potential lease agreement for future operations of the Tema Oil Refinery put on hold.
In business news, Ghana Revenue Authority directed companies to calibrate their systems to operationalize the new tax regime.
And elsewhere on the foreign front, Kenya police arrest popular televangelist and closes church following reports of mass death. We've got details of all these stories plus many more coming up in the next 60 minutes. Remember, we're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. You can join us with your views, comments and suggestions on any of our top stories this hour. Feel free to post your comments on Facebook or on Twitter. We promise to share them with the rest of the world.
The news now in detail, and the presidency is demanding a retraction and an apology from Al Jazeera, producers of a documentary which cites President Akufo-Addo as having represented one gold smuggler, Alester Matthias. The documentary, titled Gold Mafia, implied President Akufo-Addo personally benefited unlawfully from an alleged $100 million state infrastructure contract purportedly awarded to the said Alester Matthias. The presidency in the last few hours, in a statement signed by Secretary Nana Asante Bediatu, described the work as fabricated. It indicated that efforts to get producers of the documentary to provide further and better particulars regarding the allegations of the president having represented the businessman in his shady dealings have proved futile. Nana Asante Bediatu maintains Alester Matthias and his gold rush resources denied the claims made in the documentary when he was confronted by Al Jazeera investigative journalists for a response. The presidency is of the view failure of the producers to remove portions containing allegations against the president before publishing is malicious and defamatory. They want the documentary withdrawn immediately, a retraction and an apology to the president and government of Ghana within 7 days over the said publication.
In other stories tonight, the Lands and Natural Resources Minister Samuel Abu Jinapor has defended the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and Information Minister Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah over their alleged involvement in illegal mining. Reacting to Professor Frimpong Boateng's report, he said his ministry will not lose track or be distracted or detracted in the fight against illegal mining.
I want to remain focused. I don't want to be drawn into, if you want, the squabbles of the past and this and that. If there are lessons we have to learn out of that era, we should. And there are, I believe there are lessons that I have taken on board. If there are things that went on which were good, which were positive, which we have to adopt, we should do so. But most importantly, we are dealing with the lives and livelihoods of the Ghanaian people. We are dealing with their environment. We are dealing with their forest cover. We are dealing with their river bodies. We are dealing with their survival. And for me, that is a sacred, noble undertaking that I want to discharge in my modest way with other stakeholders, with my officials at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and several other people who are connected to this fight, for us to be able to make progress. The presidency headed by President Akufo-Addo will not countenance that. The president will not countenance any interference. If there's one person who's been committed to this fight against illegal small-scale mining, it is President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I've worked with him closely, and I mean closely and closely. And I do know that his commitment to this fight is totally unflinching. And indeed, it will be scandalous, and it will be far-fetched, and it will be impossible for President Akufo-Addo to interfere in the fight against illegal small-scale mining. Indeed, on the contrary, he is the man who is giving me all the courage, who's giving me all the strength, who's giving me all the backing and authority and mandate to go frontal in dealing with this matter. I know the information minister to be a gentleman of honor, and I will never, ever, in the wildest of my imagination, ever come to the suspicion that the information minister will be engaged in an act like that. I'm sure you media people will agree with me, and I think he's a very fine gentleman, decent gentleman, who carries himself very well and does his business with a lot of integrity and candor.
Let's now go to the Eastern region, where the chief of Chebi, Osaberi Mama Fokwabere, is asking former Environment Minister Professor Frimpong Boateng to appear before the chiefs and elders of Chebi to show them where exactly Galamsey activities took place at the President's house in the area. The chiefs and Chebi elders say the report is false and aimed at tarnishing the image of the president. He said this when some journalists were taken on a tour of the President's house in Chebi. Martin Esiedu Data, my colleague, joins me here in the studio. Thank you so much for your time. What has the chief of Chebi and his elders been saying? Right.
Before we even come to the specifics of what he's been saying, let's give a bit of background. Now, in Professor Frimpong Boateng's report as chair of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, on page 29 specifically, he talked about the Eastern region in generality, where he talks about how it has become increasingly difficult to deal with illegal mining and Galamsey activities there. He specifically mentioned the Ochehene and then also some other elders, and he says that they are even overwhelmed and that they are unable to deal with the canker of the illegal mining in the Eastern region generally. But when it comes to Chebi and the fact that the President's house was mentioned, page 29, so on your screens now you will see specifically what Professor Frimpong Boateng said, where, for instance, he goes on to say that I had a telephone call from one Mr. Eric Entry of the Office of the President, and he narrated that the youth organizer of the NPP in Chebi was excavating for gold in a field close to the house of His Excellency, the President of the Republic. When we checked, it was true. Now he added that beyond them verifying that it was true, they also found out that it was actually quite close to where the President's house was. So they immediately, as the Interministerial Committee, sent a bulldozer and some excavators there to go and reclaim the land. And that was, we are talking about when this report was done about 2-3 years ago. So he says that reclamation was done and the land was revegetated. So it's very likely that by now, some green grass would have grown on the land. Today, we got information that some journalists went to the President's house or were invited to come to the President's house to come and ascertain for themselves whether or not there are or there ever was some Galamsey activity there. It was difficult to tell, especially from the journalists themselves who had gone there.
I mean, how are journalists expected to be able to tell if indeed, an
something like that had gone on?
Something happened 2 years ago.
2-3 years ago. So that's where the concern is about. So what exactly were they expecting the journalists to see? Considering the fact that the same report said that some years ago, excavators and a bulldozer was sent to reclaim the land and revegetate it. So it's very likely that within that time span, the place would have been regrassed, and different from how it would look when the activity was ongoing. But the Chebi chief, Osaberi Mama himself and his, they call them the Chebi executives, who took these journalists around, said that they could not find anywhere around the President's house or his garden where that Galamsey activity
they could not find with what did they use to try and with their naked eyes, or they had equipment to go and see whether or not there was a Galamsey that may have occurred 2-3 years ago.
So Fakwesi, that is the concern. That's those same questions we're all asking, that if you go to a site that has been revegetated 2-3 years down the line, you may not be able to tell with your naked eye. However, some forensic evidence can prove whether some action like that has taken place there. So if we do have, he actually addressed the journalists and said that they are actually quite surprised about the words of Professor Frimpong Boateng, and that there is nothing within that particular area, and that they want Professor Frimpong Boateng to appear before them or come to the area to show them specifically where this illegal activity has been ongoing in the house of the President in Chebi. So that's what we've picked up now. As to whether Professor Frimpong Boateng would respond and go there and show them the specifics of where it took place, we are unable to tell for now, but that's the information we do have. So if we have the voice of Osaberi Mama, the the chief
Right,
of
I'm
Chebi, who
told that is
addressed
not
the
ready.
journalists.
We're supposed to be speaking to Mary Ada
Yes.
of the Ghana Integrity Initiative. Yes, thank you very much, madam, for your time. I'm sure you've been monitoring this back and forth between Professor Frimpong Boateng, a report that was published about 2 years ago to the Chief of Staff, and how it's suddenly taken a life of its own. You know, with what we're hearing coming in from Chebi, the chiefs are angry. Journalists were sent there to indeed ascertain whether or not some activity of Galamsey had taken place about 2-3 years ago. Now, my first question to you is, if this was a report that was presented about 2-3 years ago, how come no action was taken and we have to wait 3 years down the line to be engaging in this back and forth? Madam Mary Ada, I don't know if you can hear me. You may have to unmute your machine. I'm told there's a bit of difficulty in hearing us. Please, guys, try and see if you can work on that connection. Right. Right, madam, my first question to you is that this report, we're told, was published about 2-3 years ago to the Chief of Staff, and it's suddenly taken a life of its own 3 years down the line. All this back and forth, we're hearing from the chiefs of Chebi essentially poo-pooing what the former minister has said. What's your own take on this?
Yes, I heard that. And I'm saying that's a question we all need to ask the president and all those who were CC'd in this report 2 years ago. What is the reason why they did not pay attention to it? Because the reasoning that is posited for not attending to the report, for some of us, we do not understand. The Office of the President indicates the report was not, didn't come with a cover letter. And for that matter, they picked it as an informal thing and didn't act on. And that is very unfortunate. We begin to also ask questions of, is it intentional that this was not acted on? Because they believe it is a personal letter which did not originate from the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. However, for all of us, we know that this is a gentleman whom the president entrusted with power to ensure that the fight against Galamsey was won. So if this gentleman was out of office and decided to produce a report, I believe for every cause, I believe that the president should have acted. Unfortunately, we cannot determine what the president acts on and what he doesn't act on. But then we believe that an opportunity to further the cap of the fight against corruption was missed when this report was put aside. However, it's not too late, because whatever happens, it's come out through somebody's initiative. And so what we are asking for is that some action should be taken so that the president then justifies his mantra of putting his presidency on the line for the fight against corruption. Because we know for a fact that Galamsey continues to happen with impunity across this country.
And for me, that's a big question. What do you make of this very rapid attempt to send journalists to Chebi to go and ascertain whether or not Galamsey activity had happened 3-4 years ago? What do you make of it?
It's interesting. And for that same purpose, I believe that verifying it's a good thing to do. We need to be able to validate claims that have been made. And so it does not take anything away from the presidency in wanting to validate claims that have been made by the veritable professor. However, with the dispatch, they have acted on this, knowing for a fact that these issues may have been overtaken by time, because it's been 2 years. And we all know that the gentleman when he was in office. I think that was about 2019 when he left. And so it's even more than
They say
3
there
years.
was a reclamation and the land was
Exactly.
revegetated. And so I
Exactly.
wonder how it takes a naked eyes to really determine whether an act of galamsey that happened 2-3 years ago was indeed something that happened.
And I remember when you read, you indicated that it was close to the president's house. What the professor spoke to, that it was close to the president's house and it was close to his garden.
Well, I'm afraid we're having some difficulties and challenges with the line. And I'm sure you can understand it's been a rainy evening. A reminder, you're still watching News 360. This is our major news bulletin for the day. Let's know what you make of our major stories today. Go to our social media feed on Facebook and on Twitter. Let's know what you make of our major story tonight.
Let's now head to the court where the first accused person in the murder of Adams Mahama, a former Upper East Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Gregory Afoko, is set for a retrial at the Accra High Court after a decision of a 7-member jury resulted in a hung jury. The second accused person, Asapke Alandi, has been sentenced to death by hanging after the jury unanimously found him guilty for the offense of conspiracy for murder. Lord Idwasari reports.
My lord, I haven't done anything, and I am pleading with the court. These were the final words of a seemingly dejected second accused in the Adams Mahama murder case, Asapke Alandi. After 8 years of trial, which involved the prosecution calling on 16 witnesses, the prime suspect, Gregory Afoko, got a favorable verdict from the 7-member jury, who gave a 4-3 not guilty decision on both charges of conspiracy and murder. Justice Ifwa Melewood, a justice of the Court of Appeal, noted that per the law, a 4-3 verdict means it is a hung jury and there must be retrial of the case. Counsel for the second accused, Alandi, said he will make an appeal to the death sentence pronounced on their client after the jury gave a unanimous verdict finding him guilty of conspiracy to commit murder. Alhaji Adams Mahama suffered severe injuries after a substance suspected to be acid was allegedly poured on him at his premises in Bogatanga on May 20, 2015. Lord Idwasari, TV3 News, Accra.
Elsewhere, a possible lease agreement for the operationalization of the Tema oil refinery for the next 6 years has been put on hold until workers of the refinery get familiar with content of the document. Now, workers have also put in a request to the Energy Minister to investigate the missing $2 million worth of condensate at the refinery. My colleague George Quenin was at the Ministry of Energy earlier today and reports.
The meeting between the Energy Ministry, top management and the General Transport, Petroleum and Chemical Workers Union ended inconclusively. The sector minister directed that management makes available document of the lease agreement to workers for perusal before their next meeting on Friday, May 5.
Currently, I can't say much. We are in, I would say we are in limbo now, but we think when we have that lease agreement in place, TOR can do well. But as of now, we don't know what is going on.
The workers are equally concerned about irregularities perpetrated at the refinery.
The refinery is a going concern to the minister and anybody who is a Ghanaian. We want the refinery to work, and all the actors and people in the refinery whose actions or inactions result to some of these losses must be dealt with. The bad nut in the refinery must be exposed. The refinery needs resilient to work, and that is all that we are advocating for.
They are calling for a strategic partner in the revival of the refinery.
We are hoping that next week meeting we will achieve all our goal. That's the most important thing, because without that, there's nothing to say about so. I can't say yes, I can't say no, because I haven't seen it. I can't speak to something that I've not set my eyes on. Whatever I know is hearsay, and I can't base on that. So when we see it, then we can speak to.
Intended protests and demonstrations by workers have been frozen until the series of meetings are over. Trust TV3, to follow up on happenings related to this very meeting and update you subsequently in our bulletins. George Quinn in TV3 News, Ministry of Energy, Accra.
In more news tonight, Chief Justice nominee Justice Gertrude Tokonu says over-reliance of mission statements by institutions will do little to improve employer work ethics. Speaking at a public lecture ahead of this year's May Day celebration, she called for collaborated efforts to improve employer work output.
According to the Supreme Court justice responsible for the e-justice system currently being deployed across the country's judiciary, the need to improve output of workers is pivotal in changing the fortunes of not just companies, but Ghana as a whole. Justice Tokonu highlighted effective communication as a tool in increasing productivity.
Harnessing good work ethics for higher productivity will always require the multi-pronged approaches needed for success in any life endeavor. Vision is not enough. Mission statements are not enough. Goals per se are not enough. Strong tools such as clear communication, a culture of accepted regulation, and efficient use of technology can be engaged to assist in this journey.
Director of Research and Policy at the Trades Union Congress, Dr. Nyaku Otu, tasked government to avoid raising productivity issues during salary negotiations.
Their incomes and pension. And there's always the temptation to be politically correct when you are talking about workers as somebody from labor. But we do recognize the attitude problems we have in this country. We do. So we have written on productivity. We have written on work ethics before. The challenge is that we don't think government and employers take these matters serious. So they only talk about it when we are doing negotiations. And they use it to justify why we should not have a higher percentage. So we want our employers, we want government to take the issues serious.
The 6th Labor Day lecture was organized by the Institute of Work, Employment and Society of the University of Professional Studies, Accra.
The Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, wants the National Tripartite Committee to demand from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission the list of public sector employees who have received and earned salaries. According to NAT, this will help in the fight against public sector payroll fraud. Meanwhile, the Fair Wages has requested the affected employees to refund the money without delay.
The ongoing payroll monitoring by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has generated some tension on the workers' front. Work on 58 public sector institutions have been completed. According to the Commission, 22% of public sector employees have received unearned salaries translating to 10 billion cedis.
Because of our current conditions, we are placing or we are freezing recruitment into the public and then the civil service. Now, why should the living go home and the ghosts be at the workplace? This is the question we need to ask ourselves. At the end of the day, we have what we call the tripartite. We work together. This is a very, very important information that the tripartite will be interested in. That is what we are social partners.
He explained that the findings will inform the decision of organized labor in the next salary negotiations.
Anytime we go to negotiate, we are told that the wage bill, thank God, they themselves, they are now telling us that about 22% engage in an unearned salary. Please, they should share the report and together let us, they should show us how the survey was conducted and the kind of support we can give to get these names out. So that next time, soon we are going to start negotiations so that we can get more salaries for our people.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Ben Arthur, said the implicated employees have been petitioned to refund the monies without delay.
When you say refund, if the person is a public sector worker, you must know that you cannot do a refund genuinely within 1 month. So you need to look at amount involved and then how long it might take. So you can't have one size fit all answer for your question. But obviously the refund is a surety. that if it is in error, you have to refund.
He explained the first phase of the exercise will end by the end of the month.
We'll be doing it on monthly basis, but unfortunately, these are not details we want to come back to the public to come and share. From the ministry, the sector minister believes that this is a matter for the tripartite, which he chairs, to discuss it. That will go that further, but we cannot jump from here and say we have gone to tripartite.
Away from the Labour front, Ayawaso West Wuogon and Ododo Diodo now remain the only constituencies left in the Greater Accra region in which the National Democratic Congress has yet to vet their parliamentary aspirants. 2 other constituencies exempted from the initial vetting over internal wrangling have now been cleared and vetted.
In all, 14 parliamentary aspirants from the Amasaman and Ayawaso Central constituencies were vetted. This was after some pressing internal issues confronting the party were addressed. There are 5 aspirants from the Ayawaso Central constituency, which include the current Member of Parliament for Obom Domiabra, Sophia Kwaku, who once again is switching from her constituency. In 2012, she contested the Dom Kwabenya seat but lost to incumbent Sarah Adwa-Safo, after which she switched constituency to Obom Domiabra, where she eventually won and is serving her second term in office.
NDC is coming back to power. Everybody is protecting his or her seats. So we need to add an extra seat. It's adding an extra seat in Obom Domiabra. We have never lost that seat before. So I believe that anybody who will contest there can take the seat for us. Now I want to move back to Ayawaso Central so that I can come and help here so that we can get one seat so that at all costs, NDC, everybody will keep his seat. We can have one extra seat to make it 138 for minority.
But what is the position of a party on matters like these?
In fact, in this year's elections, our party's guidelines gave the opportunity to every member of the party qualified. When we say qualified, it means you served 4 years and above from any other constituency to compete in any other constituency, provided you satisfy the constitution. So in the guidelines, you have it, you should be a qualified member in a constituency, previously in the constituency. But now it is in a constituency. And that is why Honorable Sophia has been given the opportunity to move from Obom Domiabra to now Ayawaso Central, because that is where she was born.
9 aspirants have filed to contest the Amasaman seat. The constituency was among 3 others exempted from the earlier vetting exercise due to an acute internal wrangling.
This is democracy. I think everybody who wants to lead should be ready to have challenges. So I don't see it as a threat. I feel those who are trying to contest me are my brothers and sisters. Everybody has the opportunity to try something for the first time. I personally believe that they also want to come and give it a try. Whoever wins, why not? We will support the person to lead the party in Amasaman.
We are going to be very vigilant and make sure we bring resourceful people on board to make sure elections are won in the branches, to make sure every branch will be vigilant there and make sure we win every branch.
The party is, however, not certain about the fate of Ododo Diodo and Ayawaso West Wuogon primaries, as internal issues there remain unresolved.
Strategically, the party is working to ensure that we do things right. Ododo Diodo and then Ayawaso West Wuogon. These are the constituencies that will be outstanding. Now, it will interest you to know that whatever is happening is something that is being done deliberately to make sure that we get the right people to come in so that at the end of the day, the right person will emerge.
A reminder, you're still watching News 360 live from our news hub here at Desawe in Kanda, Accra. We're going to go for a quick break. When we return, we'll bring you the very latest in the world of business.
we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo Superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
You need to ask yourself, where do you want to go? No matter who you are, trust yourself. Dream big. Break the rules, not the laws. Keep pushing. Everything is possible. Trust yourself. Life is about confidence. Africa, it's your time.
Sanlam, live with confidence.
The sweet scent of rose in the morning brings me so much joy. Inspired by damask rose and infused with 100% natural rose oil. Introducing new Clean Soft Perfume Beats washing powder. It's like bringing a garden with you everywhere with this wonderful perfume. Take a garden with you everywhere you go with Clean Soft Perfume Beats washing powder.
Why rent when you can buy 3-bedroom affordable luxury homes from Selma Court, located at Tema Community 25, and start earning up to 15% rental income per annum? After project completion, you will also enjoy a secured gated community living at Selma Court with facilities such as electricity, 24-hour security, highborne water, shopping center with gym and fitness center, as well as asphalted inner roads. Just reserve yours now with only $5,000 today and spread the balance within 2 years to break the rental cycle. You can move in after 70% deposit. Call us now on 0249 399 932 or visit our website on www.selmacourtghana.com. Selma Court, live your true comfort.
The business segment is brought to you by MTN.
Right, welcome to the business news segment here on News 360. Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority has directed all companies and business owners to calibrate their systems before the collection of the 3 new taxes on May 1. Now, according to the authority, the move has become necessary to ease the mode of collection of taxes, which will include the new accented taxes to generate a lot more revenue to the economy.
Already, most clients have received emails to this effect. Messages from most companies explains what purpose the 3 new taxes will serve. The acts include the Growth and Sustainability Levy Act 2003, the Excise Duty Act 2003, and the Income Tax Amendment Act 2023. Government introduced these with overall purpose of raising revenue for growth and fiscal sustainability of the economy. According to the GRA, all companies must calibrate their systems for the takeoff of collection of the new taxes by May 1.
All companies that are incorporated under the laws of Ghana, whether they are companies limited by shares, companies limited by guarantee, or they are partnership, or companies incorporated as trusts, or individuals, all businessmen and women in this country, once you are conducting business and earning income, the law imposes obligation on you to pay your taxes appropriately. And you will realize that some of these amendments affect income tax, excise duties, and growth and sustainability levy. And so we expect that all our taxpayers would comply effective 1st May 2023.
To some interesting news coming in, government has up until tomorrow to redeem the payment on matured coupons. This follows an earlier threat by the Pensioner Bondholders Forum that it would resume picketing at the Finance Ministry if government failed to honor its obligations on matured coupons. Dr. Edwin Entry, who is convener of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum, made this known yesterday. And so we'll be staying on the story and giving you the latest updates based on what happens tomorrow. Now, the Union of African Shippers Councils have intensified efforts aimed at addressing the increasing cost of transportation in the shipping and logistics industry. This development has been attributed to the high cost of doing business at African ports. The World Bank estimates that the transport cost in sub-Saharan Africa averages 50% higher than other regions of the world, forming a significant proportion of the overall cost of goods. To address the issue, the UACS Committee of Experts on Transport Costs on 25th and 26th April 2023 converged in Ghana to discuss and exchange ideas, share experiences and explore ways to reduce the cost of transportation in international cargo. The move is to ultimately help in improving competitiveness of member states to mutually benefit port services providers and shippers with the rollout of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Chairman of the Standing Committee of Experts on Transport Costs, Aboyomi Adiwoye of the Nigerian Shippers Council, explained the terms of reference for the two-day meeting.
To determine the components of shipping and other logistics costs in the supply chain of West and Central Africa, identify all surcharges and tariff headings applicable in West and Central Africa, confirm the justification or otherwise of all surcharges and tariff headings identified in the sub-region, identify the factors responsible for delays as well as cargo clearance costs in West and Central Africa.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Ms. Benunita Bismarck, in an interview said the situation is not peculiar to Ghana.
This committee comprises Angola, Cameroon, there's Senegal, there's Nigeria, there's Togo, and of course Ghana. So we're going to put together these issues and then table them at the General Assembly in May.
Let's find out what's been happening in the automobile industry because Silver Star Auto has launched its renowned brand Iveco at the Silver Star Tower in Accra. The official launch marks the beginning of a new era in the Ghanaian commercial vehicle sector, raising Iveco as the most competitive choice for light, medium and heavy commercial vehicles.
Iveco, a global leader in the manufacturing and distribution of commercial vehicles, is known for its innovative designs, exceptional performance, and committed to sustainability. Attendees to the launch were giving a comprehensive introduction to the Iveco Daily Van, Eurocargo, S-Way, and the T-Way. Jalal Kalmoni, sales manager commercial vehicles, indicated the reason why the truck manufacturing giant appointed Silver Star Auto as its authorized dealer in Ghana.
The Italian auto manufacturing giant appointed Silver Star Auto as its distributor in Ghana after careful assessment of our credibility and standing in the automobile market while taking into consideration factors such as infrastructure, after-sales service, staff strength, and overall position in the commercial vehicle segment.
Nuhad Kalmoni, executive director of Silver Star Auto, expressed his enthusiasm about the partnership.
This partnership entails the distribution of the Iveco range of trucks in Ghana, and it consists of basically light-duty vans and medium-duty trucks all the way to heavy-duty trucks and buses.
Harold Wilson Akwe, Iveco Exports Area Sales Manager for Southern Africa and Ghana, speaking at the event, confirmed Iveco's commitment to Ghana.
Partnering with Silver Star, being one of the four founding fathers of car dealership in Ghana, lifts us to that pedestal of being able to penetrate the Ghanaian market. And most importantly, our trucks with the Euro 3 emission standards are perfectly designed for Africa and Middle East markets, especially Ghana.
Elsewhere, Old Mutual Insurance has launched its 10th anniversary celebration, pledging to continue to provide innovative insurance products geared towards customer needs.
Management highlighted the company's achievements and reaffirmed its commitment towards enhancing insurance penetration in the country. Clients were assured of adequate financial education on available insurance packages.
Like any 10-year journey, a journey will always have its challenges, its humps and bumps along the road. But when we look at the growth that we've managed to achieve as a business, the growth that we've managed to achieve for our staff, and most importantly, the growth and development that we've managed to achieve for our customers over the last 10 years, the smiles that we've put on people's faces over the last 10 years, it has all been worth it. We are also always in touch with our customers and giving them and providing them solutions to meet their changing needs as their life progresses.
An official anniversary logo was unveiled and an online portal for easy accessibility and application introduced.
One key thing that we have been able to do is improve our turnaround time when it comes to customer claims and servicing. Within a touch of a button, customers can now sit in the comfort of their homes and interact with us. Some few years ago, it was never like that. Again, within a touch of a button, customers can be able to assess questions and products and understand whatever is going on from their product perspective. So for us, technology is very key.
Old Mutual Ghana is part of Old Mutual Group, which provides life insurance, asset management, banking and general insurance products to more than 16 million customers in Africa, America, Asia and Europe.
Well, that's how we end the business news segment, your News 360. For more business news stories, you know what to do. Just visit our website. It's www.3news.com. And Kevin Oswansai is on standby for the very latest in the world of sports.
Doing never stops until the job is done. Turn your home and business into an internet highway and experience the revolution of working and playing without limits. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh to sign up for MTN Fiber for Home and Business today.
Mothers of Africa.
Mama, will I ever be a soccer champion for Ghana?
Well, you've got to be like a geisha bomb. Stay strong and go so far. Never give up till you reach your goal.
Okay, Mama, I'll be strong and go so far, lasting long like this geisha bomb.
Be strong and last long
like geisha.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
Sports segment is brought to you by
Gentleman Cosmetic Range.
Kelvin Oswansai is here for the latest in the world of sport, and 3 sports get results.
Well, that's the essence of journalism,
Kelvin,
to make an impact.
Today.
Yeah,
Wish
yeah.
her one.
Happy birthday to you, Portia.
Thank you.
The reigning journalist of the year.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well,
what's coming up in sports?
Yeah, 3 sports made an impact, and that's the essence of journalism. Thanks to our reporter, a 25-year-old who's managed to put up his own academy.
he's received massive support from the general public.
Right, take it over, bro.
Well, my name is Kelvin Olswans, and on to our first story. 3 Sports delivered a heartwarming story and got results earlier today. Former Normalization Committee President Dr. Kofi Amoah delivered on his pledge by making a substantial donation to the MVP Academy in Obuasi. There is more in the following report.
Earlier on Thursday, former Normalization Committee President Dr. Kofi Amoah donated an amount of 10,000 Ghana cedis to Gideon Dankwa, owner of the MVP Soccer Academy in Obuasi, following a heartwarming story by 3 Sports. The story, which aired on Monday, April 24, highlighted the efforts of Dankwa, a 25-year-old orphan, in helping youngsters achieve their footballing dreams. Yabuabin, who presented the check on Dr. Amoah's behalf, stated that the gesture is aimed at helping Dankwa and the budding footballers in Odumase to get to the top.
You want to be part of your vision, and you're therefore making this donation. I hope this donation will help to inspire you and motivate you to do more for your community.
Dankwa was left overwhelmed by the kind gesture and expressed his profound gratitude.
First of all, I would like to thank the Almighty God for this great day. Second, I would like to thank Dr. Kofi Amoah for such a donation. May the good Lord bless him and bless him again.
Head of Sports for 3 Sports, Thierry Nyan, reiterated the need for the media to keep telling more heartwarming stories for the betterment of sports in Ghana.
We, as a media house as well, we have a responsibility, to the society, and making impact in the society is exactly what we seek to do, and this definitely is in the right direction.
Well, 3 Sports gets results. Now to the Ghana Premier League, and Great Olympics shocked Kumasi Asante Kotoko earlier on Thursday, scoring 2 goals without reply on home ground. Here are the highlights.
Osei's crossing, a chance for Olympics, and that's the first goal. Michael Osei puts Great Olympics ahead. The Dada boys have taken the lead against the Porcupines. And it's Michael Osei who heads Olympics into the lead here in Sogakope. Stefan Nete, he still hangs on to possession. Michael Osei on his left foot. Asari, and it's a goal. Olympics have their second. Great Olympics. Emmanuel Akese makes it 2 for Great Olympics.
Well, in the aid to make athletics better continued today. The Speed Clinic was organized as part of Sports Equity Lab's 4-day Max Velocity Speed Summit targeted at providing skills to boost performance of national athletes and younger ones aspiring to be athletes.
Student athletes and coaches were taken through techniques and procedures to boost their speed and learn improved scientific process of the sports. This is Powell's second visit to Ghana in just a month. He explained the idea of a speed clinic was too good to turn down and believes Ghana has lots of skills to unearth.
From what I'm seeing, they need a lot of work. They need to get strong, strengthen their core, strengthen their legs, So far, it's going real well. They're really accepting the training, and the coaches as well are learning a lot, and they're accepting it as well. So it's going good. Just hope that it continues. That's the main thing, that it continues.
The summit and speed clinic was started by Dr. Yecha Kwakli Wasonu, who founded a Sports Equity Lab a few years back. Yecha was a Ghanaian athlete and in 2016 became a member of the national long jump team.
This entire session, for those who are not used to it, is going to be a wake-up call. So a lot of the muscles they're not used to using, they've now been asked to use, right? Also, a lot of the positions they're not used to assuming, they've been asked to assume. So might be a little sore in the next couple of days, but that's okay. Par for the course, part of being an athlete. And I really hope that they really learn, essentially, that there is precision, and there's precision to sports. Hopefully, they'll be hungry to learn more and to master these skills moving forward.
Students present at the clinic expressed their joy and aspirations in the sports.
I'm very glad I did it. I feel a lot more stretched and better. I feel like I can run faster. Yeah.
I was able to learn a lot of stuff to help me improve my athletics.
Para-athletes are usually painfully overlooked when events like this come to town, but the Max Velocity Speed Clinic gave an opportunity to para-athletes to learn for the experience and ask questions regarding the sport.
Don't let anybody tell you no. You are in charge of you. You know your disability. You know your abilities to do so. So when someone tells you no, push them aside and tell them that you could do otherwise.
The three-day event, which began this week, is set to finish by the end of the month with the main goal of creating opportunities for Ghanaian athletes.
Well, before we wrap it all up, updates from the Premier League. And Manchester United are leading Tottenham Hotspur by 1-0. And Newcastle also lead Everton by 1-0. That'll be all for sports here on News 360. My name is Kelvin Owusu-Ansah. Wait for entertainment and a lot more.
What makes a gentleman? It's how the need to protect the things that matter pushes him to persevere. It's how he immerses himself in thoughtfulness. It's how trust is his shield. You can smell his integrity from a mile away. Introducing the Gentleman's Cosmetic Range. Be one of us. Be a gentleman. Ye Abrantier.
Pepsodent is aware that globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. That's why by giving her Pepsodent, you're not only protecting her teeth, but also helping her grow up and thrive at every stage of her life with a healthy and confident smile, so she can succeed and achieve all of her dreams. Because every smile matters.
Water is life. Water gives life. Water moves through nature in a never-ending cycle. Observe the beauty of water as it flows all around us, refreshing and restoring. Gaze in wonder at the stillness and beauty of nature. There's harmony in nature everywhere around. Water revitalizes the body and keeps you going strong. Water is life. Water gives life. Drink Awake Purified Drinking Water. One for life. So relax and unwind, and in the calmness of nature, find the rest you desire. For every bottle of Awake you buy, an amount to be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is FDA.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water and powered by 3 Entertainment.
I said I wasn't going to talk, remember?
Please talk.
And Nira said I should talk.
Yes.
He said talk. Do as the honors.
You know, it's a birthday, actually.
Yeah,
And,
I wish you a happy birthday
receiving
earlier.
gifts and cakes from everybody.
You want today to be your birthday too?
It's coming up shortly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You also want to receive some?
Just wait for it. Just wait for it. What's coming up in entertainment? What's coming up? Tell me about it.
Okay, so Kudus, Mohammed Kudus and Stonebwoy, they granted an interview, and Kudus was sharing how Stonebwoy songs inspire him, especially during tough moments.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. My name is Anita Ekia Ekufu. Let's get into the details. And in a now viral video, dancehall musician and footballer Mohammed Kudus have shared how supporting each other has been inspirational. The Ayas player was quick to add that Stonebwoy's songs keep him going even in tough times.
It's special because, you see, growing up for me and probably him as well, coming from the same ends, we knew that only one thing could take us outside of where we are. And it is the only thing we believed in, which would have been our talent.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also believed only that the talent that I have is the only thing that can take me outside of my country. And also the same thing. So to actually be outside of our countries doing the same things that we have once upon a time believed in at the top levels makes the meeting here just, more inspirational.
I relate to the lyrics, so yeah, most of his songs are spiritual to me, and I think you got to know about him from when I got injured and I was playing most of his songs in the rehab times, and yeah, I just relate to it spiritually and most of it on how it can impact on myself. So yeah, I love the lyrics. 80% of our football life journeys includes music. Like I was saying, we travel to games in the bus, we listen to music. It's all around the work I do, so I need to listen to the right stuff and the stuff that can really touch me and uplift my soul, motivate me in the work I do. So that's basically it.
I do not take things for granted. I'm one of the people who see things from different perspectives every time. I wouldn't take it as the fact that, yeah, it's normal for people to listen to my music, so when he plays it in the dressing rooms, it's okay. I respect him and I thank him for actually adding his power, his brand power, to actually elevating the same sound that elevates him. It shows a lot of people where we are from. It makes them want to know our story. It makes them want to come even to Ghana to come and check our music, to come and check our culture. It increases tourism. So whatever he showcases to the world, then it means that it's a good thing, and it gives it more value. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a beautiful one there, the spirit of brotherhood. But away from that, award-winning music producer Kewa has opened up on how to stay relevant in the music industry. And according to him, young musicians and producers should not follow trends, but create one. He shared these nuggets of wisdom when the 2023 VGMA Unsung nominees paid him a visit.
Stay relevant and consistent. I have this I say every time, that don't just follow trends, create trends. I have been producing for 25 years, and one of my greatest things I always follow is that I make sure that I'm one to create something for somebody to follow. As much as when something also comes up, I should be able to follow what's happening, yet become me in that which I'm following. You understand what I'm saying? So try not to just be a follower, but create so somebody can also follow. And that's my secret. If you know me, for instance, in the gospel, music space, it was always high life. Then I said, let me put Afrobeat in the gospel music. And that was the first time it ever happened. It happened with Dinah Hamilton, and then I moved into what's her name? Ohima Mercy. Then I realized everybody was following. There was no crunk music in Ghana in those days. And I followed, and I did hotgirls.com, and I realized that every producer was going there.
And that'll be all for entertainment. My name is Anita Ikia Ikufu. Up next, it's international news. Good evening.
Kenyan police have arrested a popular televangelist and closed his church on the country's Indian Ocean coast following reports of mass deaths. The move comes as investigations go on into a religious cult linked to the deaths of nearly 100 people. Police have not formally connected the two cases. Pastor Ezekiel Odero, famed for drawing huge crowds at his functions, was held up hours after police inspected a funeral home near his church. Kenyan authorities have already recovered 95 bodies of people suspected to have died of starvation and buried in shallow graves at a 800-acre forest near his church in the same parts of Kenya as Mr. Odero's church, as many of the victims were children. Civilians have begun arming themselves, residents and humanitarian organizations have said, as they organize their own defense forces to protect themselves against attacks from rival tribes as well as a feared paramilitary known as the Rapid Support Forces, RSF. The RSF is currently involved in a violent power struggle with its former ally, the Sudanese army, resulting in a security vacuum that armed tribes are now exploiting. The developments have local international observers on edge. Some said they believe the current violence could degenerate into targeted ethnic violence, particularly in El Geneina, the capital of West Darfur State, which has already been the site of fighting between Arab and non-Arab tribes over the past year.
Well, that's how we end News 360. Thank you very much for watching. For more news, do also visit our website. It's www.3news.com. My name is Pa Kusiasari.
And I am Portia Gabodu. Join Alfred Okanse at 10 p.m. for Ghana Tonight. Have a lovely evening.